Well, good evening and good day, wherever you are. This is Bishop Larry Ward Live, BLAW Live. We call it BLAW Live, Bishop Larry Ward Live. Coming to you this Tuesday, and we are just going to have a time where we're going to share. And I have with me today one of our brothers in our church, named is Maurice Haynes. And he is working on many different aspects in ministry with us, from our steering team of men's ministries to working to help us onboarding new employees, to prayer teams and many other aspects of ministry. And he's been a faithful brother for many, many, many years. But today we are in the last week of our fast, and I pray that it has been a blessing to everyone. You can also just let you know, as we're on tonight, share with somebody, let them know on, and that we're talking about fasting this evening from a particular Brother Maurice's perspective of what he's seeing and what he's experiencing during these last several weeks of fasting. And I'm praying that as we have this discussion, we're going to encourage you as we come into this last week. But not only the last week, it's the last of the fast, but it's not the last time God is going to try to do anything. So we just have to just keep in mind, fast might be over, but God's not over. And so we want to encourage you all. So here we are. Brother Maurice, how you doing?
Hey, Bishop, I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good, good. Good to have you with us tonight and with me tonight to just share some things. So I just thought I'd just talk to you as a parishioner, as a congregant who has been fasting with us at these different junctures over the years, especially at the first month of the year. Every year we call fast, and you've been with us on these different fasts. So I have some questions. Just want to kind of see what your reflections are, and also what your encouragement might be in these areas. So over the years that you fasted, and participating in fasting over these last several years, how is this consecration different from all the rest of them that you were on?
That's an interesting question. First of all, how long have we started this journey of we've been doing this for a while.
Oh, this is probably now, I would say probably even 20 years.
So I've been a vegetarian for 20 years now. When I first did that first fast, it was the first time fasting seriously. And I decided that I was going to give up meat, just like the Daniel fast required. And I'm a diabetic, and I had a host of health challenges. And so after that first fast, my life was better. My blood sugars were in control. My blood chemistries were better. My doctors were happy. I was losing that excess weight, and I was closer to God. And then throughout the years, there were different times where my health was going up and down. And I really needed that fast as a kind of a coming to Jesus, as it were, a reset time. And I know that every year we had a different theme, but this year has been particularly challenging. Back in 2020, when the COVID virus hit, it really hit in many areas of our lives. It hit economically, it hit health-wise, it hit in terms of social economic justice. It hurt with people that don't have jobs, and people don't know what they're going to do, to people that are in food lines. And I know the church has really done a lot to help support people with food insecurities. And we've really come together as a community. And that was another issue. As a church, we couldn't see each other. We couldn't come and hug a brother on the neck and say, God bless you. And it just created fear and confusion. So, and then personally for me, I had just come through a kidney transplant and a host of other health challenges. At one point, they told me that the kidney wasn't viable anymore and that I might have to go back on dialysis. But God was there, and God rescued me again. And so this fast consecration, I don't want to call it a fast, but a consecration, because it was a time that I really needed to repurpose myself and refocus and recommit to what God's plan was for me. During the consecration, because I'm home all day, all I would do is sit and watch the news and stew on the the previous administration and the lies that came out of that administration. And so this season of consecration came at a critical time. God has blessed me with a new job, which I just started officially on Monday. They introduced me to the company and all the individuals, and now I have a to-do list that's as long as my arm. But I needed to get ready for that. And I think the timing of the fast and getting this job was just amazing. I had to get up. I had to take a shower and not just switch into my daytime pajamas, but put on clothes with all the Zoom meetings required. I had to realize that God is ever present and brought me to this point. And so during this consecration, I haven't been able to give up, to go back on a full Daniel fast, but what I did do was I spent more time just reading the word, being in the word. I cut out the television completely. I allow myself a half an hour of news in the morning while I'm, getting my day put together. But it's been a real great season. And let me just add one more thing before we move on to your next question is, I had been going to the prayer team and just praying for me to get out of my stationary position, and that I was feeling really lazy and just stuck. And I knew that I'm hard on myself, that God really gave me this season to rest so that he can prepare me for this long to-do list. And so this consecration was kind of a kick in the butt, Jesus told the man that was paralyzed, get up, take your mat and walk. So he had already healed me, but I didn't take up that mat and I wasn't walking. So that's what this consecration has been to me, and why it's different this year, because there are so many people hurting. And on top of all that hurt and pain, we lost sisters in the faith. We've lost people that we love, not just due to the COVID, but just life challenges. And I just heard today that another brother in the faith has passed. So we really need God now. And we need to realize that God hasn't left, and that we needed to turn our heart back and our eyes back to him so that we can see what he's doing in this season.
Well, that's a lot. A lot has been happening for you, and as you're thinking about this new position that you have, what might you tell people about that might the position and just kind of the journey towards that? And because maybe many people are probably looking at, I don't know when I'm going to get another job, or I don't know when my job is going to open for me, and I'm still waiting on my check to come in
Right.
from the government, and I'm still trying to figure out what my next move is. So just talk about that. I know you're a human resource manager as well, and you served in many areas of helping companies and organizations develop their talent force. What might you say to them in this season, in
Yeah,
this moment?
Bishop, there are jobs out there. There are so many jobs. When I look on the job boards right now, and I'm currently actively seeking to find a senior recruiter, a big plug from my world. So send your resumes to me and I'll show you the link. But there are jobs out of there, and we just have to think differently. I just had a counseling session with one of the people that I'm coaching, and she's in a stuck place too, and she doesn't yet know the Lord yet. So she doesn't know that the Lord is her source. So what the message that I want people to know is that there are opportunities out there, and that they also need to set themselves into a position where they can hear from the Lord to say, is there a new job opportunity? Is it time to shift? Maybe the job that you were doing before is no longer available in this season, and that it's time to rethink your position. There's so many free educational opportunities, vocational opportunities. So if people are, and I don't want to say it's too late, but this has been a year of what next, that people probably should have been thinking about. What am I going to do in this next stage? What are we going to do when they say it's time to go back to work? And this young lady that I just spoke to, she was in that situation. She just got a call and said, Thursday, everybody's back to work. Yet vaccinations haven't gone out. She's not feeling safe going back there, and she's trying to re-question her direction now. So I think what people need to do during this season, during this last week of the consecration, is to sit down and do an assessment, and come up with a plan and a strategy, and really ask the Holy Spirit to show them um, what's important to them, what gifts, skills, and talents did God put in them, and how can it be transferable. Um, and so that's the first thing. And then start networking. People are at home. People want to help. This is one of the seasons where people are just feeling um, more in a giving phase. I've noticed that, like one of my dear friends works as a development person for a major organization, and the donations are really high. People want to help. So don't, one of the things that I say, and it's probably not grammatically correct, is don't stay stuck. It's okay to have your pity party in the moment, but there has to be a time when you shake things off and that you say, all right, it's time. I'm going to make some phone calls. I'm going to pick 3 goals for the day and make 3 phone calls. I'm going to research whatever class or new vocational opportunity there might be, and I'm going to take a step to do it. So I know it's hard, and I know that people are depressed, and they're still mourning the things that were, but we really need to be in a position, especially for those that are saved, to be able to serve. When God calls us, we have to be ready to go. And now I have a pastor, present company, who would say, have your passport ready. What if God calls you to fly tomorrow? You know, you have to be ready to go when God says go. And so that's my advice, is be ready to go. Mourn, journal, pray, and then when God says to go, be prepared to go, even if it's taking a couple of steps.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great advice. I really believe that while the pandemic has really caused a lot of disruption, it's not even an interruption. It's a disruption, and we're looking toward maybe getting back to some normalcy and in some place of getting together again and being able to go to our restaurants and going to our our stores. And but I think it's going to also be different. It's going to be a very different experience, and even coming back into a church environment is going to be a very different experience. And
Yeah.
so how is fasting in this season preparing you for the different experience, the different, I mean, you probably did all your interviews via Zoom and that type of thing. And how did fasting, and in particular this one, prepare you for this, just accepting the newness of what's happening where we've never been there before?
Right. And for me, and it's funny, I just taught a lesson on this on Sunday about how God, he brought 10 plagues. He opened an ocean. He opened an ocean where people can cross over on dry land, and he closed the water on these pursuers. And then people had the nerve, and I know I still do this, so I'm not speaking holier than thou, but they had the nerve to say, send me back to Egypt where I had the best of Egypt. I had food, I had onions and leeks or whatever it was. And then to complain again, and then to complain again, and deny God's existence. And so what this fast was, is for me, was God saying, I'm the same God that got you that kidney. I'm that same God that brought you through this point. I'm that same God that got you this job. When the world is in this crazy place, you got a job with a great salary. I am yet still this God that loves you. I'm yet this God who died on the cross for you, so that you can have an abundant life. You're adopted into my kingdom. You are my son. And so this fast was for me to get out of my pity party of saying, oh, it's so bad, or it's so hard. And I don't doubt that it's hard. Life's a struggle. Life is hard. We're here in a fallen world, so life is hard. But we have a God that says, I'm here. In Ezekiel, he said, Jehovah Shammah, which means the Lord is here in Israel. So they needed to hear that. And I believe that God is here in us, because once the Holy Spirit came in our lives, we are the Ark of the Covenant. We indwell the Spirit of God who raised Jesus. So I'm very passionate about the subject, as you can tell. So during this consecration, God had to really remind me. And even now in my spirit, I'm hearing him say, I'm here, Maurice, I'm here. You know, why are you worrying? I'm here. And so that's what I've got. That's what this fast was for me, is that I'm here, and get out of bed and take a step.
It's good.
Do three things, you know?
Good. That's good.
And then my first three things are, so I had to reprioritize. So even though I have my half an hour of news in the morning, I have daily audio Bible is something that I use. They read an Old Testament, a New Testament, a Psalm, and a proverb, and they give a word, and then people pray, and I follow along with my Bible. So this is the second time that I've done the whole Bible with them. And I spend time in prayer, and I don't have the TV, the background, and all the noise, so I can hear from God instead of all that noise and confusion. Satan is just going crazy trying to, complicate life and distracting people. And this fast was about taking the distractions away so I can hear from God.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great insight. And I think that as we go forward, I wonder that the default mechanism that, how faster finished, but yet the default mechanism says, well, that was a very, very great time of encountering with God and being able to put aside our foods and put aside our technology and put aside whatever it was that we wanted to consecrate. But then again, here we go. Well, will we pick those things back up until the next fast? And I'm wondering, should those things be put away? Period. And of course, we have to use that technology because that's the way we communicate. But what habits and disciplines do you think what we need to put in place so that we're not going to get stuck and that we're constantly looking to move forward and grow?
Yeah.
What are the things would you say that we need to put in place in order for us to continue to grow? And specifically, what are the things that you say, okay, I'm going to put these things in place, that things that I didn't have before, but the things I'm going to do going forward, these are going to keep
Yes.
me growing. What might you say to folks that are
And
listening?
I'm already laughing because I have this lemon frosted cupcake it's a vegan cupcake that's sitting in my freezer waiting,
A
and
vegan
a
cupcake.
nice big cup of coffee that's just waiting for Sunday night or Monday morning for breakfast. But no, you're right. Um, you know, I like how I feel now. I like being closer to the Lord. And of course, the Lord hasn't gone anywhere. I had to get closer to him, because I went away before the fast and in that stuck moment. Um, but I like how I feel, and I like the progress that I'm making, and I like the growth that I'm seeing and feeling, and what I need to do. Just like with my lesson on Sunday, I need to remember this feeling and remember what God did for me, and make a choice. And so sometimes it's hard for people to go cold turkey on these things, but what was Stephen Covey's book, 21 Days to a New Habit? Was
seven,
that Stephen
seven,
Covey or another? Oh, yeah.
seven habits for highly effective people.
Right. Well, the bottom line, it takes 21 days to have emotional changes to things. So I think there are things that I don't have to be on Facebook hours a day. I don't need to power watch Netflix movies, I'm not going to give up those things, but I don't have to let it dominate so much of my time. I don't need to be watching CNN and MSNBC every second of the day and checking my phone for the news or the sports scores, go Tom Brady, because God has done some really good things that's going to move the needle, not just for me, but for the community that I serve. So my suggestion would be for people to, even if they have to cold turkey, think about just like your questions today, what did I learn during this fast season? What is God saying to me, and what kind of changes have I made? And kind of think about how to make that work for you, and take it in small stages, and tell somebody. I've got you, I've got some other brothers in the church that I can say, look, this is what I've been doing and this is what I've learned. I need accountability. I need someone to stand with me. And when you write your goals down and you share it with somebody else that you feel trusted, that you can say, tell me the truth, if you see me doing this and stuck up behind the TV for hours and not moving the needle, I want you, Bishop, to say, Maurice, what's up, brother? And I give you full permission.
Cool.
Yeah.
Same here. We have to also keep moving. I really feel that the things that you said are spot on. And to keep myself moving, I'm not going to wait until the church calls a fast next January of 2022.
Right.
We're going to have more fast,
Yeah.
and just kind of giving everybody a heads up. We're gonna be fasting during the Lenten season. I know the Lenten season is 40 days, but we're not going to go 40 days. But we'll have a fasting period within the Lenten season, um, because we're still not out of the pandemic. And here's what I'm concerned about. That now that we're getting vaccines and we're starting to see a slight reopenings of our restaurants, which are
Right.
great, and I we're seeing just a little bit of movement here. I don't want anybody to take their foot off the gas and
Right.
be careless and not understand that we are still in a very very critical time as it relates to how do we deal with this COVID-19 as well as things that are going on in our communities.
Yes.
And we can't get our what I call take your foot off the gas, because when you do, that's when you fall into a very difficult problem.
Yeah, it's true.
So I would encourage people. I would encourage people. Don't wait until the bishop calls you to fast. Don't wait until the church goes on a corporate fast. But there may be seasons, and even where the Lord tells you to go on a weekly fast in terms of
Right.
a day a week. Pick that Monday or that Friday or that Wednesday or whenever that might be to do your own personal fasting, to do your own personal prayer times, and you don't have to fast a whole day. You can fast a half a day. You can fast 2 days or 3 days out of the month. It's very important that all of us, and I say all of us, we all are included in the discipline of fasting, because that's the thing that's going to keep us sharp spiritually, and it's going to keep us also healthy. I'm noticing more and more as I go on, and I'm looking at apps, and new apps are coming out, that folks are just really fasting a lot because they feel better health
Right.
wise when they
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And we're not doing it just because of health. We're doing it because of our spiritual growth. Yeah, it is about health. Yeah, you could say yeah. It creates a lot of healthy things for us, but primarily it's spiritual. But yet there are some healthy, course, physical benefits in there as well. So I trust that we're all going to practice our time fasting individually, even beyond our time that we are going to end this one. So that I think that's really great. Uh, what would you say? What would you say to those who may have had a very, very, very hard time fasting these 21 days?
I would say, it's not easy. I mean, it really it's a practice. That's the key word, practice. It's a practice that you have to practice. And when you start a new thing for the first time, it takes practice. And the more you do it, the better you are. For example, even with our prayer team, we're trying to get people to encourage them to pray more. And it takes practice. It's not always easy just to pray in front of other people or just to set time away in silence because it feels uncomfortable. And so my thought is, don't jump into a 40-day water only fast or consecration, but break it down into reasonable things. Turn a plate down for a meal and shut everything off and focus on reading a word and praying and focusing on the word that you just read. And then gradually, and everyone is different, but gradually, once you practice something, you become better at it. And that's what God is honored by that. God doesn't want us to stay stuck. We talk about people that are still drinking milk when they should be eating meat or vegan meat like I eat at this stage of the game. And so I'm just hoping that some of the more seasoned people that have been walking with Christ for a while are taking this fast serious and enjoying the benefits of connecting with God.
That's it.
Um, you know,
That's
one of the things that I've learned in my studies about fasting, every year I go back to the scripture about fasting, and um, I just realized that the thing that started all this back in is Eve, because she couldn't control her flesh, her desire for that fruit that Satan told her was good to eat. Um, that it started this whole world of this whole corrupt world. And then Satan tried to use the same tactics on Jesus. And now we're in a position where we have to learn how to control our flesh, our lust for the eyes, our ears, the things that, you know, that the body, our flesh says it needs over the spiritual things. So just take a step and break it down into small, achievable practices, and then you'll get it'll become easier to be able to fast.
that's good. That's good. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your experience on BLAW Live. Especially, it was very impacting to know that God can, bring us into a space of dedication and consecration and fasting,
Yeah.
even when our bodies are going through and all the things that you went through physically.
Yes.
And I want to encourage folks out there to say, maybe you don't have to deal with an issue with your kidney or an issue with your diabetes or anything like that. Maybe you might be a perfectly healthy, strong person, but something in your brain says, if I don't meet that meal, I'm going to starve to death. But you're not going to starve to death. It's a
Right.
matter of, you know, trusting God and disciplining yourself. And the thing about it is, after you find that you fasted and you're hearing from the Lord,
Mm,
at the end of it, you'll say, that was worth it. That was
right.
worth it. For what, we've seen God bless people with some tremendous,
Yes.
powerful things over our times of consecration and fasting, from relationships to, they wanted a vehicle for their family, or they wanted a job, or they
Our new
wanted a
home.
home. They want you. It's right. You bought your house during time of consecration.
Yeah.
Um, just a lot of things that God has poured out, and it's not just the material things, but spiritual things that we've gained, and also insight and strength, even in times of difficulty. We had, losses within our relationships with our families in terms of their passing away, just a lot of things God prepared us to deal with, because we honored Him by putting Him first. And so as we do that, I trust that we're going to see God do even more as we make ourselves available to Him. So I want to thank you so much for being a part of BLAW Live and sharing your testimony. Now, for those of you out there, we just want to thank you as well. And we trust that as we have these next several days leading up to 21 days of fasting, and of course, we're making the Lord number one in 2021, and this is our time for kingdom living. We trust that God is blessing you. So here's what I'd like you to do. Just share your testimony, write a testimony for us, and you can share it with us. You can go to info@alccame.org. You can just put it up there and let us know what's happened, what is God doing, a praise report, and God will just continue to bless you as you share that testimony with others. So thank you so much for being a part of BLAW Live. Thank you so much for supporting us each and every Tuesday evening. Thank you again, Brother Maurice. Thank you, Tonya, for really helping us with the technology and making this possible. So have a good evening, everybody. God bless, and we'll look forward to seeing you again. God bless. Bye-bye.